I'm Daemonxel, and this is your Eve Echoes weekly news update, where we take a deep dive into all the happenings of the week. But first, if you can tag that subscribe button, ring that bell, share and like the video, then you can stay up to date with everything that this channel has to offer. Alright, first let's just do a little update on the pilot, and he's doing fantastic. He is actually crawling now and zooming across the floor. You turn your back and he's gone. So it's definitely been interesting having to put up the new gate system that I have to keep him in place. He is feeling better this week. He is just a little congested, but you know, then again, what are you gonna do when his big sister is in school and bring home every virus known to man? So let's dig right into the patch notes for December 1st. Now, before we get into the optimizations, they want us to know that the Concord Pass Season 5 is coming and will launch on December 3rd and will end January 14th. The new Concord Pass will contain the new nanocore, the Ascension nanocore, and that'll be contained in the Concord Pass shop, and then it's going to be available for all ships of all tonnages from frigates to battleships. So unfortunately, still no way of getting a capital nanocore unless you spent a lot of money for that previous event. Now, they do say that there is some issues with the Interceptor Ascension nanocore, but it will be fixed before it comes to the shop. And of course, the first optimization is always the updated estimated prices based on successful transactions in the market. We know this, we love this, it happens every week. Now, they did do some changes to cap modules and some balancing to capitals, obviously because they rushed them out. But the first one they did was on number 2. They increased the capital shield booster capacitor consumption by 16%, reduced the capital armor repairers capacitor consumption by 35%. Now, this does go a long way into bringing a balance between armor and shields, but I am told, because I don't own a cap, that it is basically impossible right now, due to these new changes, to have cap stability on your capital ship with these module changes. Number 3, they added in space icons for fighters. 4, they improved the visual effect of the Sino field generators. They also adjusted the mounting point on the Hound, and an issue where the turret was placed in the wrong spot has also been fixed for the Hound. Number 6, they increased the shield recharge time of the fighter drones. Number 7, the local member list will be saved after the sorting is set. Number 8, changes to the mission offer. Join your first corporation. Joining your first corporation grants you 20,000 skill points. Staying in a corporation for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 days each grants you 50,000 skill points. Staying in a corporation for 15 and 30 days each grants you 100,000 skill points. So basically what they're saying is, join a corporation if you're a new account, and then at least stay in there for a month, and you'll reap the benefits of getting those skill points. Now, they did do something new this week. They also added the server shutdown protection to reduce the occurrences of ships being destroyed due to server maintenance. So now there will be a server actual shutdown with the protection of any ships in speed. In other words, if you haven't logged out by the time maintenance kicks over, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to die. Well, at least hopefully not as much as before. Nice little quality of life here. It says it's now possible to find recent contacts in the chat window. And number 11, when pirates are spawned in anomalies or nihilospace, players could see the number of waves in the notification now. So at least that's good. At least you know how many waves there have to finish in each anomaly. And they added something to the event page, the leaderboard, to get on the leaderboard. Now, this is not actually in-game yet. I've gone to the event page. I have not seen this leaderboard. Some of us are theorizing that maybe it's a kill board. We don't know. And of course, there's always some bug fixes that we have 2 this week. The first is they fixed an issue where the structure's blueprint reverse engineering bonus didn't work for capital ship blueprints. And they also fixed an issue where some of the members of the same fleet could not see the Sino signatures under certain circumstances, so they fixed that as well. Now the event has wrapped up. There is no more chance of getting that Neon Rain nanocore. The cash grab is over. Now there were some feedback on this event, mostly all negative. I did another video and gave my actual thoughts of the event itself, but it is over. However, the community does notice that they kind of doubled down on this event, trying to get people to spend. And what I mean by that is they held another offline event on the Discord for a karaoke night. Now, the devs have basically gone on record, and I can see their point. They just wanted to give a fun event out of a game, like a spontaneous thing where you can win things. But the prizes that they were giving out were discount coupons for exactly the thing players did not want to take part of. So, yeah. And they also gave out on Black Friday, their Black Friday page, a scratcher page, which I guess in theory it's a cool idea, but they were giving out discount codes again for the event that a lot of players were seeing as a cash grab and did not want to take part of it. Now, my tune has kind of soured a bit on this, and we're going to find out because of a leading story later on. But when asking the community manager about this event and given our honest feedback in the content creators section, we are told that they do have other events planned coming up that are more PvP oriented and not so much economy driven. So hopefully we can get an event kind of like the Crimson Harvest that we had over a year ago, that everyone basically says that that was the best event that this game has produced. Now, also, I want everyone to be on the notice that on Friday at 2 a.m. and 11 a.m. UTC +0, there will be a AMA event to talk to Lance Dot, one of the developers of the game, and basically share your questions and hopefully get some answers. And it's going to be about balance, the game balance and server stability. Now, I do urge everyone to take part of this and basically ask, why can't we have nice things? The reason being is, and I'm going to get into this later on, is there's been an event on the Chinese side server that there is zero lag, zero black screens. They have these large, huge fights, and they don't suffer from the same problems that our server has. And our server has been the primary source of, I would say, fundage of this title for over a year now. The Chinese server's been up for over 3 months, and they have zero issues that of the big fights that we face. Okay, another new thing we should see this week is the updating of the Trello roadmap for the Eve Echoes development team. Now, it shows that in November 2021, and obviously we're in December right now, that they were bringing in the tactical overlay. I don't believe it's in the game yet. I have not seen it, but I do remember playing with it in the beta and how helpful it was during some fights and skirmishes. But moving forward and looking at this month of December, they are bringing out a few new things: the anomaly detection array, the base detection array, and something called the Dull Star, the treasure trove, which is a new discovery style gameplay, as well as a new item, the gravitational wave graph, and of course they're bringing back the Yule Festival. Now, I did try to pry some information from the devs on exactly what these treasure trove gameplay is, this new mode, but unfortunately they were tight-lipped as always. You would think that the devs by this time would use the content creators to their advantage and hype the game on things that, I don't know, could get the community and player base back on their side. But again, we find out the same time as everyone else, so really, why is there a content creator program? Now, in your Plex market report, being a day removed from the Neon Rain event, we are seeing the fall back of Plex pricing kind of coming back down from that 1.6 range. We are currently at a 1.4, 1.5 million per Plex range on Plex. Now, I estimate that this is only going to keep dropping, so do take advantage of the high prices while you can. Our lead story for the community news this week didn't actually happen on our server, but it does affect us. Now, let me get into this. A couple days ago, there on the Chinese server was a massive fight. Kofer and friends, KOFR, who is both on this server and the Chinese server, part of No Please Stop, I believe on the Chinese server are part of PIBC, had a massive fight. Now, when I say massive, they had a system cap fight of 1,500 for a while. I'm going to play the video in the background so you can see. And there have been 0 black screens, 0 lag. So the advertisement that Eve Echoes put out a while back about the game, trying to get players, saying that you can have these massive 1,500 player battles in Eve Echoes, they weren't actually talking about our server now, are they? Because we are struggling to have over a 200 pilot fight without any disconnects or battles or lag. Sorry. So when they come out and say, oh, it's a device problem, this is not a device problem. This is a server-related issue and packet loss. The reason I say this is, yes, they have an excellent connection because this is a Chinese-based developer, and the Chinese server is based on location in China, so they don't have to deal with third-party servers, which we are on the Western servers. We are dealing with third-party servers that run proxies. So yes, there's always going to be that ping loss, that packet loss, and we're going to suffer for it. Now, they are making strides to fix this. They actually went on notice in the announcement section stating that in order to better solve the server stability issues, that they've been manually conducting performance optimization tests on a small scale at various times. In the future, they will make it automatic and update to both the international and Chinese servers at the same time, and that they'll continue to optimize the connection issues to bring us a better gaming experience. So yes, they are working on it, and unfortunately, the server issue, I'm not sure how it can be resolved other than getting better servers, or servers with more memory stateside. I don't know how they can do this, but they're not having the same issues on the Chinese server that we're having here, and no one can attest to that more than the big coalitions in the massive fights that have been happening. In fact, there was a fight not too long ago, just about a week ago, and Silent can attest to this, that most of their pilots were hit with black screen, a lag, and basically their fleet did die due to this. Now, that's not to say that the Genesis fleet also didn't suffer from that. You can actually see on several videos put out on both sides that every pilot is suffering from random disconnects, black screens, lag. So it is really important that you do take part in that Ask Me Anything, that AMA event that is going to be on the official Discord on the 3rd for developer Landstop, because it is dealing with server stability. And I want you guys to bring up this exact scenario. Why can the new server that's only been up about 3 months have 0 issues? Yet our server, who has been the primary source of fundage for this title, that's been up over a year and a half, having these worse connections. A year ago, you were able to have, yes, still with black screen lag and disconnects, 1,000-person fight, and it's nowhere near the as bad as it is today. At least back then, you could have 600 pilot fights and minimal lag and minimal disconnects, yet you can't go over, I would even say a 400-person fight, 200 on each side, without feeling like it's a system cap fight. All I'm saying is that personally, I feel that the winner of the fight shouldn't be decided randomly due to who's going to get the disconnect, who's going to get the black screen. These fights should be won on skill and not, well, let's get all the bodies in the system, and whichever side doesn't have the most disconnects wins. Now, the fight I am referencing is that of system J7YR Tech I, and it was even numbers on both sides, 230 versus 230. So 460 ships total, and yet they couldn't really have the fight due to all the disconnect, lags, and black screens. And with the developers keep pushing capital ships on us, you need the capital ship, let's do these capital ship fights. No one wants to bring a cap so they can just randomly DC and lose their cap. Now, this main fight was a deterrent to save 3 Silent Federation timers in what is called the Wishbone within Branch. The first battle was in J7YR Tech 1, where the Silent Fleet was taken down, and at the time, the height of the battle, the system count was around 510. Now, be noted that there were massive amounts of drones used by both sides on the field. Now, a lot of speculation is that these drones are being counted as real ships, therefore that's what's producing the lag. But if that, they also say because they are not considered as real ships, that's why tie-dye doesn't kick in. But you can even see on Pheonix Tassador's page the full battle, and I'll put a link of that in the description, that even him, as the FC at the time, black screened and disconnected. Near the end of the fight, Silent Forces did retreat, losing a number of their ships. The Genesis fleet also lost a number of their ships too. I don't know the counts on either side, unfortunately, and I am sorry for that. But the winner of that fight was Genesis Federation, and they went on to take 3 Citadels down. The first of the 3 Citadels was in system UI Tech BZE. This was a Chinese Citadel. All 3 Citadels do belong to the Silent Federation, and each Citadel roughly estimated between around 13.5 billion. The next Citadel to fall was that of AH Tech B84, Capitalism Rocks, and the last Citadel to go down was in B Tech GC1T. Now, all 3 of these Citadels were set in the Wishbone, and all 3 of these Citadels did fall under an hour. So it took 1 hour to take down 3 Citadels. Now, there has been news coming out of Reddit and out of Silent Alliance as well, saying that some of these Citadels were not authorized to be there. Some of these Citadels don't matter, or not that they don't matter, but that they don't consider Branch really silent territory. It's very confusing. But if you look at the map itself, they're doing a battle on the outskirts of what you would consider silent territory, and they are moving inward. I am told that there are several attacks now within Declan, the heart of Silent Federation, as well as continued attacks on those citadels left within Branch. Now, this isn't to say that there isn't anything going on in the home systems belonging to Silent Federation. There have been several fleets from Silent that have gone through and killing ratters, as well as setting some timers as well. However, these are the first of several citadels that have fallen since the fall of Pantheon. Now, I did contact Momsaurus Rex for a quote on exactly how the war is going and how it is progressing on their end, and what are the next steps that they are taking to achieve victory on their side. I was answered back with 2 simple words: new. And that moves us into the next story, which is basically why this is happening, and the partnership between Silent and No has basically dissolved, with No making a statement saying that they have reset all standings to everyone and have basically gone back to being the mercenary killing bunch that everyone loves and respects. Now, before I get into the story of No pulling out of the war, I do want to go on record saying that on this channel, I am not supporting either side. As a pilot, yes, I do fly for Genesis, and as anyone has had dealings with me, I have much love for every pilot in the game, no matter what side they're on. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to have fun. Now, as I've stated in the first story, we wouldn't have these issues if we had the server stability that others have. We could have these equal number fights and not deal with the randomness of black screens and disconnects and weapons not cycling. It's basically the whole spiel that seems to keep getting worse and worse and worse, so you have to have less and less people show up to fights. So, much respect to Silent Federation for showing up and taking the fight, but even 230 versus 230, no one was expecting the level of disconnects and black screens that was suffered on that day. So I do want you silent pilots out there to know that my heart is with you, and I am sorry that you did lose the battle due to the randomness of what happened. And that goes for anyone that suffers these kind of losses due to outside influences that you cannot control, that no pilot can control in this game. But on this channel, we are dealing in facts, and the fact is that the Genesis fleet did overcome the Silent fleet and moved on to take down 3 Silent Federation Citadels. Those are the undisputed facts. Now, back to No. In a post on Reddit, the leader currently is, I believe, Tahini of No, had basically posted that there is a full standings reset, and that No will be doing a full reset of all standings as of December 1st. All business and post-war agreements in the South should be concluded by this time. Now, as I found out, No and Genesis have entered into a non-invasion pact. No structures will be hit on either side. However, everyone is free to roam and kill each other. And I believe this goes for No with everyone else as well. Those were they have private agreements with everyone, but all I know is of this one that's currently, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the template moving forward. You know, no structure fights, just fun and mass murder. He does go on to say that it was an absolute pleasure fighting either with or against many of the others in the past month, and it has been a particular pleasure flying with many of the pilots in Silent Federation and their dependable FC team. He goes to say that in an effort to not become a blue donut themselves, they will be going back to their roots as mercenaries and small medium gang PvP specialists. You will continue to see them around, just without standings set. They've also been able to accept contracts again moving forward. So those of you who are looking to hire mercenaries for PPK contracts or escort fleets or whatever, you can now go ahead and contact No Police Stop for all your mercenary needs. Now, on the heels of the announcement that No is resetting the standings, unfortunately, Eve Echoes does say goodbye to one of its long-standing members within No, especially No leadership, and that would be Colt. Colt put up a post on Reddit saying that he's very sad to say goodbye to everyone, that he's played this game with everyone for over a year, during which time he found a huge number of friends from all over the world, and it has been an incredible year. He must say that in the last few months he has not been playing because of the game and the issues that it was having, but he was playing more for the sake of the people that he was playing with, who became close to, and there are a lot of such people that he's met over his time here. He goes on to say that he hopes that they had as much fun as he did playing with him, and that his dream was to become a legend, but he gained something more, and that's real friends thanks to this game. And then he finishes off saying that he hopes that when the borders open up after this worldwide catastrophe is going on, that he will meet some of us in his travels abroad. So, from everyone here, goodbye, Colt. Hope and swift, everything to you. I hope you have a great gaming career and life beyond Eve Echoes. Sorry, I am just a little bit tongue-tied today. I'm just a little bit out of it. Now, over the last several days, there's also been issues happening within a long-standing coalition, Catch-22. In fact, Catch-22 was recently disbanded, and we're going to get to that a little bit later on. But in the beginning, there was some friction between FRA and some of the other Alliance Corps within the coalition itself. And this friction has been brought up due to the recent struggles they've been having against Red Machine and OG. In fact, there was a blow-up that a lot of people who were on for CTAs and home defenses were not joining comms calls, and that was leading to other issues. And one of the pilots from FRA, Fool's Grims, basically blames it on the fact that many of the PvP players have left Catch-22 to join No after they bowed out of the war. They basically goes on to say that if they can't log in for CTAs or they can't get in comms, that maybe they should start questioning why they're even with Catch-22 to begin with. Xenon from KTF has basically stated that a lot of the members can't join comms due to their partner sleeping, or their kids being around, or some of their disabled players being deaf. And it is just a lot of, not hurt feelings, but more, sorry, the brain not working, tongue-tied again, frustration that pilots aren't getting on comms or actually listening to intel channels. He goes on to say that, Fulgrim says, that he's really one of the last to defend the area, and he'd like to see how the rest of Catch-22 handles defense without FRA being there. He said the other day he saw a KFT pilot jump inside CZK without looking at the intel with 5 procurers, and the intel in the chat was, you know, don't do it, there was a gate camp, and needless to say, the pilot died. And then it devolves into an argument of, you know, don't dictate my play style, I'll do what I want with my ships. If I want to yeet my ships against an OG gate camp, that's my prerogative, I pay for my ships. And it basically devolved into that. Now, I was contacted by a FRA leadership, basically stating of the friction and everything that's going on within Catch-22, and they say that there are multiple profiles of players within Catch-22, like in other coalitions, and it is normal. However, their point of view is that even the most PvE players have to contribute to the defense of their home. Here again, there is a multiple way to contribute, but a major factor is the presence in home defense CTAs with a dedicated ship, following the doctrine that they have, and also following the FC's instructions. He says that the issue is when the military leadership, mainly Snap, and the bigger extended of FRA, was telling this fact that they were most of the time rejected by, and it's leading towards a KTF versus FRA as one example. He goes on to say that this all started by a pilot playing recklessly during a home defense, being told not to do so anymore, and it escalated from there to a Reddit post with false allegations. He says this is because the pilot was frustrated not being allowed to play how he decided. He says, by the way, that no action was taken against this Catch-22 leaker, neither against the person responsible for the false allegations, and that currently there is a tense atmosphere and it's not possible for Catch-22 to unite itself with people for CTAs, and that how they've lost multiple fights in Quirius and Catch against Red Machine and OG. He then says that because Snap was considered as the black sheep of the Catch-22 coalition, that they decided to contact the corporations that they had the best relations with and who shared their vision of nullsec to join them and create a new alliance, breaking off of Catch-22. He says that we had to leave some of FRA Corps behind because they did not share this vision, which is a real pain for the French community as a whole. The announcement was planned on Saturday, but by respect for the memorial of Angel of Death, who unfortunately has passed away this past week, may he rest in peace, they postponed it and had to drop standings quickly after that announcement. So basically, in essence, Snap and several corps have broken off of FRA and Catch-22 as a whole to do their own thing. And that alliance now that has been created is called Ad Astra. He goes on to say that there were internal issues there for a long time, and multiple tries to solve them internally were unsuccessful. Again, tongue-tied, sorry. He finishes off as saying that they really tried their best to avoid the situation, but they came to a point where the only solution for them to still play the game was to leave the coalition. And from that moment, they dropped standing and are now in open conflict with the former coalition because they did not manage to refrain hitting their structures, so they responded willingly and strongly. Now, where does this leave the rest of Catch-22, you may ask? Well, they themselves have gone on to create another alliance. Basically, Catch-22 is broken and no more. But before all this happened, I did get a little bit of an interview with Xenon, who basically stated that he's grown with KTF since day one, and unfortunately the guys that he started playing with are all gone. Even Wraith, who is the current CEO, was brought in less than a year ago. He told that he is done covering up crap for FRA. He's done talking to all the members in DMs, telling them to stick with us. So he's moving his stuff out before they decide what to do. He does go on to say that Catch-22 lost 6 BPS because TN posted about it, and that he went and warned about it, but the two guys from FRA arguing with KTF forgot about it, and no one was there to defend the timer, so Red Machine got that Citadel for free because it was within FRA prime time. And he says the time for all the East Coast people was 1 p.m. and they were all at work. They couldn't attend. Now, the movement to consolidate Catch-22 into a single alliance has been slow going for a long time, especially with their problems with FRA and Honey Badgers. Stating that FRA always gave the response that FRA is too big to sink down into, 3 separate corps to go into one alliance. Saying that they have more than 600 members for that, and that they told them that they could have as many corps as they wanted, but then was responded that they could not give up the FRA name. It means too much for their members. Now, all of this is compounded with the stress of the war that happened, that did break up a lot of things, as well as the things that NetEase has put in place that have essentially pushed players out. A lot of players have quit the game due to A, the war, and B, the recent changes with NetEase and the pushback of the balance update. So out with the old, in with the new. They wanted to change things up with the old friends leaving and their new home not being only Catch. So they wanted to bring a new alliance to hold the awesomeness that was originally Catch-22, and that is RIP Rising Pheonix. Now, I am told that they were waiting on a timer for the actual creation of the alliance, that they were consolidating a lot of the corporations down to about 2 or 3 corporations per old alliance. They do know that a few groups like TN can't do this, but they are working with everyone to get them set as soon as possible. This may turn out horrible or great, they acknowledge, but the main takeaway is that they want to get away from calling themselves Catch. We are in Aquarius as well as Catch, but they don't want to be tied down to a specific location bearing the name. And that with the forming of Ad Astra, this actually takes away from the stress that they had, and they wanted to let everyone know that the problems that they had with past members of those groups should now be directed to AAA, AAA, or Ad Astra. That group has literally every member from FRA that has caused friction within the past. Now, there's still a work in progress getting all the corps within, but the short list is TOS, WRI, and KTF are among several of the corps within this new alliance, RIP. Now, I am told that there is friction now between AAA and RIP, and that when AAA broke off, they set 40+ timers on all the old Catch-22 haunts that were not associated with them. And of course, the Catch-22 is just basically rebranded into RIP. If I said alliance before, I'm not sure if they're consolidating to an alliance or not. I'm sorry, I'm brain dead. But OG and friends have ended the war and are now supporting RIP against AAA because they stated that the FR8 pilots are the ones that started the war to begin with. Now, I haven't been able to follow up on this or not, but apparently there's a rumor that when they made RIP in the game, the Rising Pheonix, that they actually misspelled it in the game. Pheonix, they spelled Pheonix as Pheonix when it should be Phoenix. Now, in other news, little was known about some of the other things that have broken off from the Pantheon fall, and that is what happened to False Trajectory. Unfortunately, False Trajectory was actually broken apart and disbanded and dispersed amongst New Eden. Now, last episode, we talked about how Silent put pressure on alliances to hand over the Pantheon Discord as part of the negotiations for peace. Now, what's not known and what's not talked about is the pressure that was put onto False Trajectory. And seeing as Silent had such history and bad blood with False Trajectory, with leaders such as Herz's and J Factor. But basically what happened was when False Trajectory and went to negotiate peace terms with Silent, they were told that they wouldn't deal with False Trajectory as a whole for peace terms, that they would deal with each corp individually, and that they would not acknowledge False Trajectory as an alliance. Now, Herz's told me that it was due to his anti-Silent announcements that were made on the False Trajectory Discord, and blames Evil Darkness with a spy alt who would share them immediately to Reddit and Gulag to create even deeper gap between False Trajectory and Silent, and to stir up that bad blood. Now, Nihilus did comment on this, basically saying that False Trajectory is a unique organization. Diplomatically, no pilot speaks for our group unless we decide to go down that road. He's talking about Silent now, dealing with False Trajectory. Joda's comments are off base as far as the Gulag screenshots with Michael J.D. He is speaking regarding the propaganda posted and specifically anti-Silent rhetoric made by a certain leader in FT. That would be Herz's. A deal with No does not imply a deal with Silent. We enter this war on our own. We have our own goals and plans independent of No. However, we work together on a shared objective. If you are concerned or interested in an official Diplo stance on False Trajectory, have a rep reach out, set up the embassy, and we can get it discussed. Now, when they did reach out and form that embassy, the contact was Michael J.D., and he said that he's a firm believer in that losing war has consequences, and as the winners of the winning party, they're allowed to discrete some measure of compensation or restitution. He goes on to say that the corps from False Trajectory have nothing to fear from the Federation. We are more than willing to negotiate with each one of them individually. Whether this is what caused the break in False Trajectory or not, I don't know. I don't have a hard proof stating that they did. I just have what was provided to me. All I do know is that False Trajectory did not survive. They did break up, and a lot of the corps and pilots went their separate ways. Now, to finish up the community news this week, we do have tidings of a player death, and that would be Angel of Death of KTF. She was a pilot with KTF and stated that she loved the game and it was a major escape for her during her very challenging year, that she loved ratting with her friends and chatting with everyone within that KTF family. In the Reddit post, they say that even though her favorite ship was a Vindicator, she unfortunately had not ever had one of her own. But she loved to hear stories about the adventures of flying that ship all the time. Now, a funeral procession was held and observed by everyone of the server. And in that funeral procession, there was not only her friends and family within the game, there was also respect from enemies who came out in force to join in that funeral procession to give her the send-off that she deserved. Now, we are sad to see a pilot pass on, and we do love how the community does bond together to remember and share their experiences with that pilot. Now this week we do have a Corporations Alliance Spotlight, and that is for Cosa Nostra. Tired of the Blue Donut? Are you refugees from the war and want some new content? Well, Cosa Nostra is the family for you. We are a corp focused on PvP drive-bys, gate camps, and large-scale fleet battles with a hint of Mafia-style manufacturing. We accept all tech levels and experience levels in the game. We are willing to teach and have you grow with us. We are a new corp with a newly formed alliance. We will make our home in nullsec and pave a new path for ourselves. Now, if you're not looking for a corp, but you're a corp looking for a home within an alliance, just reach out. Look us up and come join the family. A link to their Discord will be in the description below the video. Alright, and that brings us to the big kills of the week. And remember, the big kills has been bumped from 3 billion plus to now 5 billion plus. To start us off, we have the Corporation FEK with a 5.9 billion Vindicator kill. The 60 Alliance gives us 3 Balgorns, one at 5 billion, one at 5.3, and the last one at 6 billion. They also give us a ton of Vindicator kills. 5 Vindies this week. One at 6 billion, one at 5.4, one at 10.2, and 2 of them both at 5.9 billion each. No Please Stop comes in with a 14.6 billion Charon Freighter kill. Cub gets this 14.2 billion Providence Freighter kill. Genesis comes in with a 18.4 billion Bargus kill. And we also have 3 reported capital kills of the week. The first one goes out to ZRQ, and I am sorry, but I don't know which alliance they're with, but they did score this 41.3 billion Nidhogger carrier kill. Coming in next, we have VLT and AGRE. Again, not sure which group they fly with, but they took down this 46.4 billion Nidhogger carrier kill. And for the third capital this week, Genesis takes down another carrier with this 35.1 billion Chimera carrier kill. Now we come to everyone's favorite part of the week, and that is the solo kills of the week and a chance at winning a free Omega combo. Now, moving forward from this episode on, we are splitting the solo kills. We have an industry side, which covers anything industry as well as outposts, and we have the solo PvP side. Now, starting us off on the indie side, we have 3 entries. The first one, Augie Oi Oi with a 1 billion Coveter 2 kill. Alepsa with a 2.6 billion Sigil 2 kill. And the winner this week of a free Omega combo is Flip Flops with a 5.7 billion Badger 2 kill. Moving on to the solo PvP category, we have Hello Human with a 2.6 billion Typhoon 2 kill. We have CNDL with a 2.7 Garmer kill. And we have Ragnar with a 4.7 billion Stratios kill. Harlan Lee with a 4.8 billion Balgorn kill. And the winner this week in the PvP category is Al Valachi with a 7.2 billion Orthrus kill. Congratulations, both Avalachi as well as Flip Flops. Please contact me on Discord to receive your prize. Now, before we close out the show, we do have some honorable mentions, and the first one goes out to the sentry guns of the Ignition system for dispatching of this 105 billion Reaper kill, transporting a Will of Steel box. And also from the kills sent last week, that it didn't really make the cutoff, but I did want to give an honorable mention to it, to this pilot. And this is a Tier 4 Dragoon, not an Assault, taking out a Daredevil. Congratulations, guys, on making the honorable lists. And now, if you need more news in your life, I recommend you going on over and checking out Sky News, the premier Russian news outlet. Great production team over there. Every episode is also listed in subtitles, so you don't have to worry about learning Russian to follow along. And also, as always, Rambo's Echoes of New Eden podcast with a fresh roundtable every week and an in-depth interview with a prominent figure of the community. And I also want to let you guys know that I am starting off, I'm going to be launching a Patreon page. Now, if you do become a member of this Patreon page, not only will you be shown at the end of every video as supporters of the channel, but you will also get content within, and that would be, you know, different things we can do. I can do reactions or answer questions about other games. I could answer your questions about this game. I can do test builds, or we could do weird situations on the test server. We can figure it all out in that member section. Like I said, I'm still just fleshing it out and getting it built. But with that being said, please have a great week. Have a great weekend. Fly safe. And remember, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front.